Good evening everyone, this is Mrs. Maylene Javier at para po sa ating talakayan sa hapong ito, ang tatalakayin ko po ay the use of system approach in the evaluation of a school system. Bilang panimula, akin po munang ipapaliwanag itong sumusunod na tanong. Ito po yun. How is system approach used in school? The system approach focuses first upon the learner and then course content, learning experiences, and effective media instructional strategies. Such a system incorporates within itself and the capability of providing continuous self-correction and improvement. So, alam naman po natin na evaluation is always used para po makita kung ano yung ating improvement pa, kung paano pa natin mapapaganda yung ating sistema, as well as kung mayroon tayong dapat i-correct or makita natin ano yung mga best practices natin. So, evaluating a whole school system or institution. Kanina po ay tinalakay with regards to specific problem. Ngayon naman po ay titingnan natin a school as an institution. So this part, with reference to the social, cultural, and economic subsystem, explains the following. Number 1, how to do research on the internal efficiency of a whole school system or institution, or particular colleges within an institution. Number 2, how to do research on the external productivity of a whole school system or institution or a particular college within an institution. And number 3, the guide for evaluation and assessment of the internal efficiency of school system or institution and the guide for evaluation or assessment of the external productivity of a school system or institution. With reference po doon sa tinalakay na natin before na social, cultural, economic, and technical subsystem of the individual and society. Ngayon tingnan naman natin ano yung mga objectives on how to research on the internal efficiency of an educational program. Our first objective is to do research on the quantity and quality of educational services, called the intermediate outputs, offered by an educational program, not taking the learner's achievement in terms of acquisition of new knowledge, skills, and values into consideration. And here are the different steps. For step 1, we have to gather quantitative data on the economic subsystem of the educational program and compare with given standards. Ano po yung mga data na kailangan nating hanapin? First, we have the financial resources, the human resources, and the physical resources. Another data na gagamitin din po natin ay data on interrelationships of these economic resources and compare with given standard. Halimbawa, per student cost, salary structure, budgeting system, and income expense, percentage of expenses for salary. So, ito po yung mga data na kakailanganin natin na mag-gather in step 1. Another step, for step 2, gather data on the components of the social system of the educational program as gauge of services offered and compare with given standards in terms of service. So what are those services? The administrators, teachers, and students. Then another data to be gathered is the interrelationships of these social components and compare with the given standards. For example po, teacher-students ratio in lecture classes. Ano po yung ratio ng bata? Is it 1 to 20 o 1 to 40 in a class? Load of teachers. Ano yung mga teaching loads for teachers? Qualification of teachers. Ano yung mga standards natin in hiring or promoting new teachers? Then, teacher-student ratio in laboratory class. Ano po, etc. Another thing is student administration relationship. Meron po bang rapport between the administrators and the students? And another one, student-teacher administration relationship. The school community as a whole, ano pong mayroon? Student-to-student relationship, o yung tinatawag natin, yung mga peers nila ng mga estudyante within themselves. Ano yung meron doon sa social components nila? Paano natin kukumpara yung bawat isa? For step number 3, gather data on the cultural system of educational program and compare with given standards in terms of effectiveness. Ngayon po sa program naman tayo titingnan, cultural program. Okay, educational program and culture system. For ano po yung mga things to compare natin or data natin to compare? First, aims. Ano yung aims natin? To evaluate aims. Often the external productivity of a program will have to be considered. Another one is the curriculum in terms of relevance of content. Mahalaga ba yung curriculum? Methodology in terms of effectiveness. Another example is medium of instruction in terms of its effectiveness. Then another one, materials and textbooks in terms of relevance. So ito yung mga data na kailangan nating hanapin within cultural system and educational program. Then another thing is gather data on interrelationship of these cultural components and compare with given standards. So ano-ano yung mga bagay na kailangan dito, yung mga datang kailangan natin. First one is the relationship between aims and curriculum content. Naka-align po ba itong mga bagay na to? Pangalawa is methodology and materials of instruction. Well, applicable po ba yung ating methodology doon sa ating pinaka-course content? For step 4 po, gather data on interrelationships of economic, social, and cultural subsystems of educational program and compare with given standard called resource mix. So, paghahalu-haluin na po natin yung mga data natin sa ating economic, social, and cultural subsystem. For example po, ano yung mga data dito? Salaries within terms of economic in relation to qualification of teachers. Ano po, yung qualification of teachers na po-fall po sa social system. And in relation again to number of textbooks, which is the cultural system. And in relation to expenses of educational program, which is also an economic system. So that is just an example ng data sa interrelationships. Ano po? Another one is number of textbooks per student. So cultural and social system. Classroom, which is economic system or physical resources to students, which is social system ratio. So classroom to student ratio. Yun po yun, halimbawa. And the last step is gather data on general results obtained in external examination by the students. So, such as examination po natin dito, we have the civil service exam, the NCEE, the board examination, halimbawa kung mga teachers, ganun, engineers, ano po, on specific program over a length of time and compare to the inputs and resources mix of input as indicated in step 1, step 2, 3, and 4. For our second objectives, which is to do research on educational services as availed by the student. Halimbawa, called immediate output at the exit level of an educational program, not considering the process of inputs or resource mix in line with aims and goals of the educational program. Exit level here means upon graduation from an educational program. Halimbawa po natin dito yung mga thesis, yung mga research work ng mga estudyante. Then the third objective, to do research on the quantity and quality of education services as availed of by the students, considering all inputs and processes of inputs of an educational program, and with reference to the goals and aims of an educational program. And the last objective is to do research on the educational services availed of by the student. Halimbawa, yung immediate outputs on graduation day. Ano po? With reference to the inputs as such and to the process of the inputs of resource mix of the educational program. The process of the input is sometimes called through inputs. Kung inyo pong napansin, lahat ng binanggit ko kanina ay nagpo-fall into research. Ano po, ganun pong kahalaga rin yung research. Kasi batay sa research, mabibigyang sagot natin yung mga katanungan natin, katulad na sabi ni Ma'am Peachy, through the use of data. Another thing to discuss po ay a guide for evaluation of internal efficiency of social subsystem. So, paano po natin ito i-evaluate? Ito po, meron po itong iba't ibang area. The first area is personnel. So, kapag sinabi natin personnel, ano-ano yung titingnan nating criteria doon? Halimbawa, adequacy of resources or human resources in school. Sapat po ba yung supply na mayroon tayo? Ano po yung mga indicators natin dito? Halimbawa, ratio of administrators to teacher, ratio of faculty members to students, na po. Then, halimbawa, average number of students per class. So, ito po yung mga human resources na mayroon ng ating school. Another criteria po na titingnan din natin, halimbawa dito ay yung competence of human resources in school. Pasok po ba yung mga educational background ng mga teachers sa kanilang itinuturo? Or sufficient workload or administrators of faculty and staffs of school? Sumusunod po ba sila doon sa mga standards ng workloads na ibinibigay sa atin bilang guro at bilang administrator? Ito po yung halimbawa ng personnel. Okay, sa area ng personnel. Ito po yung ating dapat makita. And with regards to organizational structure, ang ating pong criteria dito ay there is effective communication between line and staff and among administrators, teachers, and students within the school. Na visible po ba yun? Then, halimbawa po natin, ano po yung mga indicators? Paano natin makikita ito? Halimbawa, existence of clear and well-defined line channels of communication as evidence in organizational charts, administrators' manual, teachers' manual, and even students' manual. So, what are the criteria for educational climate? Nako, there is a healthy school atmosphere conducive to the transmission of desirable positive values. Is it visible? Then, what will be the indicators? Halimbawa, extent of mutual trust and respect between superiors and subordinates, yung administrators and teachers rapport. As attitude towards educational goal, I'll be aiming to the same goal. And then manner by which motivational forces used. And lastly po, for the evaluation of internal efficiency of school social system, ang last na area po natin ay ang tinatawag nating organizational management. Ito po yung ating criteria. Planning the school has a well-defined system of planning. Paano po ba ano po ba yung plano natin sa ating school? Then ano yung mga indicators? For example, existence of well-defined goals, aims, objectives, policies, strategies, rules, programs. Another one is budgets, manual or handbooks. Then another one, yung extent po of participation of subordinates in planning. Under din po na organizational management natin, yung tinatawag nating organizing. The school has a well-defined organizational structure. Halimbawa, manner of delegation of authorities and their responsibilities, manner of classification of tasks or activities necessary to attain the school goals. Then, another one is staffing, yung mga staff. The school has a well-defined system of staffing. Example po dito is yung manner of selection and recruitment of personnel. The existence of well-defined appraisal of teachers and staff. And the next one is the existence of well-defined development program of teachers and staff. Included din po dito yung tinatawag nating directing. The school has a well-defined system of directing or effective system of directing. Halimbawa, among of responsibility felt by the members of the organization for achieving the organizational goals. Adequacy of communication, functional decision-making. And the last part po, yung tinatawag nating controlling the school. Controlling the school has a well-defined system of control. Halimbawa po, existence of well-established control information and control techniques. Halimbawa, effectively establish control measures. Ito po yung nagpo-fall under the organizational management. So, ito lamang po ang para sa week 4. It is a joint effort of Sir Jomar Arga, Sir Mark Lester Javier, and yours truly, Mylene Javier. Thank you po.